Hello?
Hi, it's Adriann.
Welcome to The Goal is to Eat, the talk show where visionaries in the world of taste share what it means to feel full. Today, the iconic, multidisciplinary artist Adriann Ramirez, also head of pastry at North East London's favourite bakery Fink's, sits on the Togo. You are truly a multidisciplinary artist, I would say, kind of working across writing, dancing, poetry, performance and baking. What is it about kind of cakes that has drawn you in?
When I was a child, I was always really attracted to baking and pastry, and I used to watch the Food Network like religiously. But I was always more attracted to the pastry side of things, and I actually thought I would go to like school to become a pastry chef.
Okay, so it's like a lifelong thing, actually.
Yeah, but my life took many kind of like different turns, and I was a dancer. I was a trained dancer. I was a principal dancer in a modern company in San Francisco where I was living. And how I got into the food world was basically like I needed to make money, like I needed to survive, and dance was not providing that. So I started working at Tartine Bakery in San Francisco.
Yes, amazing.
And that just sort of like reignited this flame of like, oh my God, I loved this. I totally forgot. Like, and I was so curious. And I was
Also,
always,
Tartine, what a place to be, though, kind of creme de la creme.
yes, 100%. And I didn't kind of quite clock how impressive it was, like how impressive these pastry chefs were and these bakers were. Like I wasn't like aware of the scene at all. All I knew is that I loved what they were doing. I the way they treated the ingredients, the way that they talked about provenance, and how kind of like dedicated they were and devoted they were. And I worked with like amazing bakers. I worked with like Richard Hart, I worked with Chad. And of course, like I was just front of house at that time, but like
You still absorb.
I was like absorbing and I asked them questions. I did like a day trial with Richard, and he taught me how to bake bread for an entire day.
Wow.
And Tartine was really great because they were like, yeah, we'll pay you to do that. Like they wanted everyone on the staff to kind of like have the opportunity to like learn these things. But so then my life kind of was really about performance, and I was like a very serious artist, I thought.
Yes, you've made films, you've directed and starred in your own films, you had a podcast for a long time.
I did, yeah.
You also have published a book of poetry and photography as well. Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, it's just...
as we say, multifaceted, multidisciplinary.
Yeah, I think like I'm always just looking for like the next outlet to like be creative in. And while I was doing all those things, I did have sort of like baking happening at the same time. And I think like while I was working at Violet, I started meeting a lot of like artists, and I wanted to break out into the scene. I had just moved to London, and I was really trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And so in 2018, I decided to start a podcast called Lavender Language, and I was just like, I'm just going to invite like artists that I enjoy their work who are queer, and I'll talk to them, and I'll sort of try to build a community
out of that.
Yeah. And again, like all the while I was doing pastry to pay my bills. Like I was baking and working at Fink's, and at the time Fink's was just like a small corner cafe in a neighborhood that I
Solo
was living
spot,
in.
just the one.
And I lived in cafes at that time, and I lived in Fink's before I started working there. So when I started working there, I asked if I could be their pastry chef when they lost their baker. And they were like, do you know how to bake? And I was like, I mean, like, yeah, I do. I'm like passionate about it. And they were like, well, like, let's give them a try. Like, who cares? And that was it from there, really. Yeah.
Thinking about the Fink's aesthetic, and I know that we've spoken before about aesthetics, and the sense is also that nowadays more and more in pastry you kind of have this nostalgia and this emphasis on kitsch, and kind of I'd love you to talk a little bit more about what is kitsch and what is camp, because I think high camp and that level of intellectualism that is involved in that, and that level of depth goes far beyond just the aesthetics of things. So what is it for you that is your personal kind of brand, and what is it that you're always trying to imbue in your creations?
Okay, so I mean, this is like a very complicated question. But I think it's a really good one because all we're told every single day on social media is like aesthetic, this aesthetic, and that gets very convoluted and very watered down. And I think like the difference between kitsch and like camp is like there is an intellectualism behind camp, and that's in camp is in my opinion, like an embrace of kind of the high and the low. So it's kind of understanding the nuances of like things that are ugly, things that are kind of like lowbrow, things that are kitsch. I think kitsch can be a part of camp,
yeah.
but camp and kitsch are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I think like when you kind of just take one element of that, it becomes like this thing that feels very
flat.
Yeah, very flat. Exactly. So I think it's really important to understand like where it comes from, and I think personally, I always want to kind of like look at it from like the bigger picture, and in my personal work, in my art, in my writing, in my food, like I'm always about embracing the high and the low.
Yeah.
I think that's where the most fun happens.
Yeah.
And it's really freeing to kind of be able to do that and to have fun with it.
Yeah.
I always say that I take food really seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
And that is like really important to how I bake.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, yeah.
so like in terms of like the things that I make, like I'm always kind of like referencing, nostalgia. Like it's what people are really feeling comforted with at the moment.
Comforted by, for sure.
And like I think about like my kind of background of like what I grew up eating, and it really was not like highbrow at all. Like I think the first time I went to like a nice restaurant, I went to a place called Zuni Cafe.
Yeah.
I also ate at Alice Waters' place.
Yeah. Chez Panisse.
Chez Panisse, and I like totally lost on me. I just was like, I'm not paying, like I'm just sort of here. Like none of these things like
registered.
They never registered to me. So, and that was 14 years ago. So since then, I feel very differently about food, and like
I'd love to go to Chez Panisse.
I'd fucking love to go back there. Please, somebody take me, and me not pay. But that's where I come from. Like I come from like really humble beginnings, and like my family, we ate a lot of fast food. We ate a lot of like frozen dinners. My mom cooked very simple food. She was not a cook.
Yeah.
My grandmothers were cooks. Like my like a lot of the other women in my family were cooks, but my mother love her. But
embracing modernity.
Yes, exactly. She was busy. She was like, she was like, listen, you're getting like hamburgers today.
Yeah.
So I still hold that in like such close regard. Like, if you know me very well. Like, you'll know how much I fuck with the Domino's. But then I also can see the beauty in like a really lovely pizza.
Of course.
Who's doing nice pizzas these days?
Dohan's,
a great pizza.
A fantastic pizza.
I bet you she would say that she fucks with the Domino's as well.
I think everyone fucks with Domino's, the right time, right place. There's this nostalgia hit. It's a nostalgia hit.
Exactly, but I think like there's this like idea that like you can only be like this one type of person, and you only eat at these one types of places, and and it's like
we're all multidimensional.
Yeah, and it's way better if you are.
What are the important ingredients that you're putting into your creations? What is it that you're trying to focus on?
Okay, in terms of food, I always want people to just enjoy what they're eating.
Yeah.
So that's where I start from, and then a lot of it is coming from like where like food that I ate when I grew up, and trying to recreate those kind of like memories, but also trying to elevate them as well, make them seasonal.
Yeah. Well, you love fruit.
I'm obsessed with fruit. I'm obsessed with seasonality. It's just like, it is so important to me, and I'm so lucky to be able to work with like amazing suppliers who are like on my ass constantly, and I'm on them. Like, I'm like, what do you have for me today?
And the kind of hyper niche varieties as well. Yeah. Just always think of you posing with a peach.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with like
stone fruit.
I'm obsessed with like specific varietals of fruit that like
rhubarb.
Forced rhubarb particularly, like forced rhubarb, loganberries, tayberries, like beautiful kinds of apples. I'm obsessed with quince. I think quince is like very like normal here, but like where I grew up, like I'd never heard of a quince in my life. Yeah, so things like that are like so important to me because I think they're just like so fun.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about a raspberry? Have a loganberry. Try a loganberry.
So thinking about quince, and that made me always, every time I think about quince nowadays, think about Nigel Slater.
Oh yeah.
For those that know.
Yeah.
And I also think about how quince, I know that you can prep it at home, but I always just think about how much labour is involved in
Yeah,
doing that,
so
and I much
laborious.
prefer a professional to look after it. Then thinking about Nigel, my mind's gone to Nigella. Obviously, your kind of alter ego in some ways. And if you were to, well, when you meet Nigella, because it's coming, it's happening, it's imminent, 100%.
Trying.
I know you DM. What is the most important thing you're going to ask her?
I think my career is sort of taking this like form right now. It's like in its very like nascent, is that the word?
Nascent.
Yeah, there's like it's like in very early stages of hopefully becoming something kind of like bigger than working in a kitchen. So I've been on TV a couple of times and I'm starting to kind of do more things as like a personality in food.
A performer in food,
Performer
really.
in food. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, like I use all of that experience in my now kind of like going on TV randomly and like talking about pastry. But I think what I would love to ask her is kind of like, how does one deal with people's projections of who they think you are and their perceptions of you? Like when that becomes sort of like a thing of its own. I mean, like we have this sort of idea of who Nigella is. And it's why I use the name Gay Nigella, because it's like, you know, she's known for kind of like all of these things.
Yeah.
And they're great and they're lovely and they're funny and they're unintentionally funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's just so effortless. But that's our perception that we're putting onto her. Who she is like, God, like, I don't know.
No.
I'd love to know, honey, but and I hope to know soon. But yeah, I would love to know like when that switch happens.
Yeah,
like,
how you deal with
how
what
do you
you're
deal with
viewed
that?
as and what you're understood as and what you understand yourself as.
Yeah, I think like I've dealt with that a lot anyways in my life as a gay man, and people's perceptions of who you're going to be, how you're going to handle situations, like experiences that you're bringing to it. Like people just are automatically projecting their biases, their opinions onto you anyways. So I think I've dealt with that a lot in my life. So it makes me feel a bit prepared for what
Fame and fortune.
fame, fortune, exactly. I do oddly feel really prepared for it, if that sounds insane.
It doesn't.
I used to watch MTV every single day when I was like 5 years old, like from 5 years old until I was a teenager. And I just like knew that where I was in my small hometown doing whatever the hell I was doing, I was like, this is not for me. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but at one point, like I'll be on television. I don't know like what is going to take to get there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's performance. I think I'm going to be a dancer. Nope, I think I'm going to be a filmmaker. Oh, I'm actually going to be a poet. Like, and so I've just been trying all these things, and not that they've ever been like, how do I become famous? It's just been like, that's always been like the next logical thing creatively for me. And it's the same with food. Like the second I started to just kind of say like, I'm a pastry chef. This is something I'm really proud of. I've been working on this quietly for many years. I've practiced, I've trialed and error, like I've made so many errors, and like now it's become this other thing where I can kind of like really put my personality into it. I can put my whole entire self to it, and maybe people will like that. And I think I'm ready to be kind of consumed in that way. I think what I'm always looking for is to be seen, and for other people to feel seen as well. And I think I hope that I can do that for somebody.
I see it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I think
really
like
do.
all of my life I grew up and I never saw a single person who looked like me, or like I don't really feel like I still do see people who look like me or like present in the way that I do or do what I do. And I'm not saying like I'm like this like oh, I'm so unique. It's just like, but I think there is just like there's so many facets, there's so many colors, there's so many spots on the spectrum. And like how nice if even like one person just like sees me and goes like, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this world. Like I would have loved that growing up.
No, 100%.
And I just hope I can do that for somebody else.
In that vein, do you find that what you're doing now is fulfilling you? What is it to you that means kind of fulfillment? What is it to feel full?
I think if I'm able to like wake up every single day and like feel excited about what I'm doing, and if I'm able to work in an environment where other people are feeling kind of like excited about what we're doing as well, that is really fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep chasing that feeling.
It's like that camaraderie, that sense of kind of part of something bigger.
Yeah, 100%. Like if my career happens to take like this other
Course.
course in which I become sort of like the thing, like I still, it makes me a bit nervous because I do love having a team. I do like being around people. I love bouncing off of other people's creativity. I have a really good friend and a really good collaborator. His name is Alessandro Giannatempo. He's nuts and
A beautiful person.
he's a beautiful person, and he's
a fantastic baker also.
truly like a talent like I've never really seen. And we just kept trying to push the boat out. We kept trying to like push what we could do, like learn new techniques, talk to other bakers. Like we were just like obsessed with it, and like that is so fulfilling to me. I think that's where you get really good food. I think that's where you get a really great community. I think that's where people really begin to enjoy eating. And honestly, like even if it's like pastry is not your passion, like I really fuck with devotion. I fuck with passion. Like if you're a barista and you're like also like a poet, like I was a barista for so many years and also a poet, and also like I still took my job really seriously. Talking to people, like serving
Understanding,
people, and like being on a team, like all those things, like
Those levels of humanity.
yes, you take that into every single aspect of your life. I believe like the way you are at a job that you don't really care about is how you will be in a job even when you do care about it. Like apply yourself in that way, and like that's what I've done in any job that I've ever been in. You can be a great barista and also be a great painter. Those things don't have to be separate. And guess what? You live in London. You can't afford them to be. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Like you have to be real. You have to make a living, and you can and that's the difficult part of being a creative is like no one's going to hand anything to you on a platter. You have to work for free. You have to work really hard, and you have to juggle like 17 plates, and that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. It's the way it's always been, and I think it will always be that way. But that's not a scary thing. It's the harder path. But I think it's the one worth going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get us kind of team, man.